don't mind the mess. It's a work in progress. I'm just gonna put that on a big display right there. It's always a work in progress, and the evolution. If we talk about this for a second, the evolution of the Lego collection, the very very brief Coles notes of the story. I was a kid, very very young. My brother already had Lego, and I started getting sets when I was 4 or 5, I think. I probably may have got sets before then, but I don't remember. But they were the even number sets, 2, 4, 6, 8, which I thought was very odd. There's a picture of my sister getting set number 6. And we didn't keep the boxes. Like most of the sets back in the early to mid 70s, the boxes weren't necessary to keep, according to us when we were kids. We kept the instructions. Like when the trucks with the fancy, I mentioned it before, the fancy steering on the top, and the steam shovels things. But we didn't keep the boxes. So we had our Lego collection in a cardboard box. And that cardboard box lasted until the big melt, which I mentioned before. But it was a cardboard. I don't know what cardboard box it was. But it was a cardboard box, and it was relatively big because we already had a substantial amount of Lego by the time 1977 came around. Because my brother would get it for Christmas, and I would get it for Christmas, and Terry, my sister, got it for Christmas, and birthdays. So again, recollection. This is 47 years ago, but it wasn't heavy enough for that I couldn't carry it at the age of 8, 9, 10. But it was big enough to hold a Lego, and we would dump it out either in the living room or on top of the pool table, or on the basement floor, which possibly wasn't the best thing to do back then since it was a concrete floor. but that's what we did. And then the big melt happened where Mom took our entire box of Lego and it went into the canning pot. And she got the canning pot, and my mom had the big canning pot that would do 7 or 8 mason jars. It was that big. It was a big black thing, canning pot on the stove. And she proceeded to boil my Lego. But the entire collection was in that box. We didn't have it sorted. We didn't care, blah, blah, blah. We just grabbed pieces and built when I was doing it. And then, of course, after that, I still got Lego, thankfully, after that. I got the 854, the go-kart, the 918. And a few other sets here and there and everywhere until I was 13. And then that got stored in a box. But I did keep the 854 box for the longest time. I remember that. I kept that box and kept the pieces of the Technic go-kart separate from the rest of the collection. The 918, I kept the 918 box as well. The 918 and the 854 box went into when I purged the closet that was about 4 feet of boxes all compressed and flattened down, including the Megacore magnetizer, the 6990, blah, 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 all that stuff. So, all that went to the recycling center in Grimsby, all those boxes. I didn't get rid of the instructions. The instructions I kept for a long time, and I think they all ended up with Jeff for sale, or I sold some of them at the beginning of the eBays. I mentioned, and this is not necessarily a point that I want to say out loud, and I'm not particularly proud of it, and it's that, but it is what it is. I put I put 2 or 3 a week, or every 2 weeks, in my instructions of my stuff, and sometimes they went for $5, sometimes they went to $15. The most I got, and this is 2000 and zeros, the 20 aughts. The Megacore magnetizer, instructions only, $140 US. That's what they went for. I started off at $10 for all of them because that covered shipping. So, because mailing these things, I don't know what the mailing was at the time, but I got $140, and it was a German buyer, and I verified with him. I sent him a message. Instructions only is a big bold letters. Instructions only, because I didn't want any kind of, people saying, you promised me a Megacore magnetizer. But that's what I did. But by then, by the 2000s, by 1908, when I say 1990s, my collection got bigger than a box. Probably halfway through when I was moving around. When I moved out when I was 19, actually, I can't even say that. When I moved out of the house, my parents' house, when I was 19 and moved into friends of mine rented a house, I had built my own steamer trunk. My dad, by then, my dad had redone the basement. My dad and I redid the basement, and we took down the 1x1 tiles, press board or paper board. They're 1 foot by 1 foot interlocking, and you staple them to the ceiling. And in order for those ceiling tiles to be up there, whoever did it before we moved into the house had 1x3 strapping going across all the joists across the ceiling. And so when we took the 1x1 tiles down, because it's just paper pushed together with white, you see them in like almost like anything you see in the school, except just 1 foot by 1 foot. Ripped out all the strapping, and Dad had a bungalow. We had like a huge basement, so there was like hundreds of linear feet of 1x3s, and 8 feet long. And so I didn't want to throw them out. So I wanted to build something with them. So I built the steamer trunk, my own steamer trunk. It was it wasn't a steamer trunk, but it was about the size of a steamer trunk. It was about 3.5 feet long and about 22 inches deep. And you could sit on it to put your shoes on, which was, I made it double as you could sit on it, but it was a storage trunk. And the other thing that was unique about my steamer trunk, and it's a little bit of a story about the wooden box that I built. I had a 1x3 strapping that was our ceiling. Empire Strikes Back came out in 1980. I want to say 1982, maybe earlier than that, 1980. I can't remember when Empire Strikes Back came out, but I saw Star Wars when I was 10 in the theater, 1977. I saw Empire Strikes Back in the theater whenever it came out. And that birthday that year, maybe 13 or whatever it was, whenever it came out, 13, 14, my mom bought me a new duvet for the bed. And it was Empire Strikes Back. It had C3PO and R2D2. It was a light blue thing, and it had C3PO and R2D2, and I want to say Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker kind of printed all over in kind of a pattern. So it's just multiple prints of C3PO, R2D2, and Darth Vader. And I know it's C3PO and R2D2. I can't remember if it was Darth Vader and someone else. And then in the back, you saw like an ISD kind of, that was a print on this duvet. And that was on my bed for years. It was literally on my bed for years. And it got worn out. And I was going to throw it away. But I said, no, I'm kind of a Star Wars fan. What I did was I cut that duvet up and I stapled it inside my steamer trunk. So all of a sudden now my steamer trunk is padded. See, this is going somewhere. So also I have this steamer trunk made of 1x3 slats from the ceiling. And then I took my relatively, I won't say threadbare, but relatively worn out duvet cover, and I cut it up into sections so I could put it on the walls and on the floor of the trunk that I built. And I put my Lego in there. That stored my Lego. So this thing was, I don't know how many cubic feet is, like 3.5 by 22 by whatever 30 that you sit on it. I don't know how many cubic feet that is, but it was a lot of cubic feet. And that wasn't even all the Lego I had. That was most of my Lego, most of my basic. I kept my Technic and stuff separate. So, and that was slightly organized into like Ziplocs and stuff. But, so when I moved out of my house and into the house where my buddies and I were sharing, the steamer trunk came with me. And that was in the living room. And I mentioned this before, after church on Sunday, 21 of us would descend on the house that we were renting, and we'd all be in our Sunday best, sitting on the living room floor playing with Lego. Memories, that was awesome. And, by the way, the fish tank was there at that house, and that was in it. Yes, 6985 was in, even when we rented the house, we called it the pit. It's a whole other story. There's lots of stories about the pit for the 366 days we lived there. But anyway, so the organization of my Lego collection back then, 2021, was the steamer trunk and a few assorted boxes that kept my Technic separate from the regular pieces. But that steamer trunk was absolutely full of Lego. And also when I lived at the pit with my friends, that's when I went out and put the first ad in the newspaper, and I drove around town grabbing even more Lego. And that's when I started getting a little bit more serious about sorting the collection. I think when we moved out of the pit, I had those Rubbermaid clear 5 inches tall big rectangles with the white lids on them. I had about half a dozen of those, and so they had not as sorted as it is now, but that's when, and so I had 5 or 6 of those bins, and every time I filled one up, I go get another one and sort it out some more. And Ziplocs, like people say. So it was nothing to this extent, obviously, and I was moving around a little bit at the time. I don't think it was until I moved into here. Now I can't say that because when I lived at the apartment right before I came here, I had my Lego pretty well sorted, not by part, but by function and by color and then function. And I had about 25 different containers, basically all the Rubbermaids with the Lego in it. The big Rubbermaids had all the basic, and then I had some smaller ones that had the modified plates and stuff sorted out. And when I moved in here, and also the 4-liter Chapman containers. I started that at the apartment before I came over here. So the 4-liter Chapman containers of ice cream, that, watching, Cheers or something. I polish that off and rinse it out and use it as Lego. So that's what I was doing. So when I moved in here, I had a whole bunch of Chapman ice cream containers, my Rubbermaid containers, a couple cardboard boxes. And I moved in here, and then I bought IKEA shelving, not the Billy bookcases that you see here, but the nice wooden type ones. That was cheaper. And those ice cream containers and Rubbermaids went on those shelves all the way on the perimeter of my basement room. I kind of got sick of the ice cream containers. I really did. The ice cream containers, they're translucent, not transparent. It's hard to see what's in them. And also they're just big and bulky, and you can't stack them nicely and blah, blah, blah. So that's when I started getting these shoe boxes from Home Depot. And gradually, there's a spot between the ice cream containers and these boxes is those Sterilite drawer systems that you get, the 3 deep ones and the 2 small thin ones. And I bought 16 of those. Every time they're on sale, I bought a few. And so we had the entire the whole wall on that side of the house lined up with it. I stacked them on top of each other, so instead of just 3 and 2, it was 6 and 4, almost getting up to the ceiling. And then so I ran along that wall and along this wall here. I have pictures of that somewhere, and that was great because I could really sort it out now, by color and function. But it wasn't down to the precise minutiae that my friend Jeffy wants me to do. Thanks, Jeffy. And then that's when we got rid of that half. Made that into the rec room for Josh because he's coming, and then all the Lego had to come in here, and that's when I started really going with the shoe boxes from Home Depot, the clear shoe boxes, which I think for $1 a piece, next to the ice cream containers, which were free because you buy the ice cream, the $1 a piece, I can't complain at all. So that's how I got this present state of organization, and so that's why I always start by color first and then by function. So those will go into my collection, because I think when the collection gets this big, you have to sort by color first. It's hard people say, oh, but if you're looking in a 2x4 bin and you just want black bricks, you can pick them out easy. And I fully understand that. So you put all your 2x4 bricks into one container, no matter what color they are. My problem is that if I were to put all my 2x4s into one container, I need 10 containers. Put all my 2x4 bricks in, which is why they're over with Jeffy now in his castle. Because I just had far too many 2x4 bricks. So anyway, mail call. So I start off with the 14-minute tangent. Mail call, I ordered something on Bricklink, I think, and I'm not going to show you the address on here. I have 2 orders, and I'm hoping this is the exciting one. I don't know, because I also ordered 50 of one part for something else. So I'm going to open this up and Used Lego parts is right on there. Haha, it is too. This is the fun one. So the Bricklink order I made when I was building this, because I did not have all the pieces to build this. I had to substitute a bunch of pieces, and I thought I'd go on Bricklink and put them on my wanted list. And then when I hit Easy Buy, one store had all the pieces. I go, well, that's convenient. So but then he got back to me after he checked out a few things, and I ordered more than what I needed, because I ordered this piece because I was going to have 8 blue things on that guy, but I don't have to do it anymore. and 1 by 16 red. Yay! I ordered 4 of them. Not that I'm going to build yet another Megacore magnetizer, but I ordered 4, and I'm going to replace 2. I ordered these things too for something else, just 2x2 macaroni tiles. But I wanted to order the black. Take the gray off, put the black on, and there is that. There we go. That's one side. Let's get that on there, and then get the other side done. And when he got back to me, because I ordered the 1x2 with a slope with the printed, skiing the same print that's on the FX Star Patroller, but in white instead of blue. I ordered 4 of them from him, and because the store said he had 4, and he got back to me the other day saying, "Oh, I don't have any." So he took that off the list and he refunded me, which I thought was perfectly acceptable. Absolutely perfect. Again, I'm not one of these guys, I didn't get everything I wanted. No, I don't care. If I get the most of the stuff I wanted and then I get refunded, that is perfectly good enough for me. So let's put that back on there. Come on, anytime now. There we go. Now I think I may have to take this apart. This apart, because these arrows have to go. Yeah, there. There we go. I got a 2x2 square tile with the arrow print instead of the round print, so I can go back. And then I think I have the same thing like here. I put a round print on here, and I put a square print on there. And I ordered extras, because that's what I do. If they have extras, I'm going to grab the extras. So I have these extras here. In case something else happens, I can put that back in the collection. Oh, he sent me one. Sorry, he sent me one. It's perfectly acceptable. That's funny. And then the robot, if I remember correctly, the robot was missing a blue arm. So I ordered some. That's not fun. That fell on the floor. So now the robot is complete, and so the only thing I'm missing is 1 more of these, and I'll get it at some point. And or something else. Oh yes, I didn't even think about that. The white hinge plate, the 4x9 or the 2x9, 2x5 hinge plate. I didn't bother. Forgot about that until I looked at it right now. So other than that, I believe. Oh yeah, and the 2 lights, which I'm going to get from my collection when I start taking things apart. Because I mentioned before, I didn't have the 1x2 light with the light on top. I have a whole bunch of 1x2 with the light on front. So I have to get that ordered, or not ordered, but out of my other builds that I know I have. So I'm going to take this piece off and take that piece off. The little cash register / phone, whatever. Put the right piece on there. And so I still have to get 1 more of those. But other than that, I think I also ordered backpacks. I ordered backpacks because I have Megacore magnetizer is missing 2. I also have these guys, which yes, they have to go in here somewhere because I needed 4 black ones and 1 white one. I have to remember where they were to substitute them. Was it in here? Was it somewhere else? I know I just built something that required 4 of these, and I substituted all white because I couldn't find any black ones. I thought it was in here. Second thing that goes is in memory. Not in there. Not in there. Huh. I will find them because I know they're in here somewhere. And I'm just not seeing them right now. I thought they were in here. But I will get that done momentarily. This thing's pretty heavy for what it is. So there you go. I bought those. So that was a worthy lot from Bricklink. So I'm going to give the guy a fantastic review because the pieces are very, very good, and they almost completed my set. I have a few miscellaneous pieces that I have to get, but I'm going to be working on that later. So mail call is over. I have one more mail call, but it was just these pieces, except in light gray, light white. So that's not going to be something I'm going to talk about online because it's just dull and boring. Oh, they're right there. Sorry, right there. I think these are supposed to be black. I've looked at the instructions. I think these back here are supposed to be black. I have to get out the instructions again. So I will figure that out. I'll find the instructions and start building. But I did order 4 of those. And I know I have them, except I couldn't find them. So just like he couldn't find the other pieces. It happens when your collection gets this big. And then I'm going to spend some time cleaning up my room. Just get it back to normal again. It's not too bad, but clean all the stuff off of here, put it back into the collection, and go on from there. So that's it. That's all. I want everybody out there to stay safe, take care, and hope you're doing well, and I'll talk to you soon.